It is a profound declaration of operational reality. The past, as a fixed, binding authority, does not exist. It is not some immovable highway that determines your final destination. The past is, in fact, a current, active electromagnetic event, a living memory that is continually being recreated and energized within your present consciousness. The now is the single, crucial moment of all creation. The implications of this truth are vast and empowering. If you find yourself experiencing limitation, anxiety, or physical distress rooted in a historical event, you must understand this. You are not being controlled by that history. You are being controlled by the intensity of the belief you hold in this very moment about the impact of that event. You are consistently recreating and sustaining the emotional energy of a past experience. And it is that powerful present emotional charge, not the original, long-gone event, that restricts your reality today. The present moment is thus the only place where true, transformative power resides. It is the razor-thin seam of time where consciousness, energy, and focused intention converge. Every time your focus remains locked on the perceived failures, the unresolved traumas, or the deep-seated regrets of the past, you are actively abdicating your power. You are effectively using the most potent moment you possess, the now, to project the shadows of yesterday into the vivid potential of tomorrow. The energy of your consciousness is being drained by specters. The primary act of mastery, therefore, is the recognition that the present instant is an unblemished canvas, entirely separate from the one that existed a moment before. The self who experienced the past is not the self who is experiencing the present. You are, in every second, literally a new entity, refreshed and equipped with renewed potential. The path to effective change and genuine creation begins with the conscious choice to anchor your beliefs and your absolute focus firmly in this powerful present moment. This requires a dedication to vigilance and a profound acceptance of your own inherent creative ability. When you grasp this principle fully, the past ceases to be a chain and becomes merely a set of neutral data points. This is the point where we diverge from conventional psychology. The traditional model asks you to meticulously analyze the past to find the root of the problem there. The Seth material tells us that the root is not in the event itself, but in the present belief about the event. The past provides the symbol, but the power to animate that symbol and make it real in your current life comes only from your present concentration. Consider your personal energy, your life force. When you spend this energy rehashing old injuries, you are essentially launching a time-delayed emotional bomb. The explosion is not happening in 1995 or 2010. The blast is happening right now within your present emotional field. This current emotional state then filters every piece of data you receive from the world, confirming the negative belief and reinforcing the illusion that the past is indeed controlling you. The true revolution lies in seeing the past not as a tyrant, but as a set of memory images. Images you have the power to consciously de-energize. To be clear, this is not about denial. It is about reclamation of energy. You are retrieving the conscious power you have mistakenly allocated to dead events. This shift demands that you acknowledge the feeling, the fear, the shame as a present creation, and then deliberately replace that emotional tone with one of confidence and self-acceptance. This is the moment-by-moment process of manifesting a new reality. Only in the present can you rewrite the emotional legend of your own life. In the next part, we will discuss the critical mechanism for withdrawing that vital emotional energy from the past and successfully reinvesting it into the creative potential of the now. This mechanism is not a complex practice for mystics. It is a fundamental ability of your own consciousness, a tool you can use immediately. It begins with the acceptance that the past does not exist. It has no power over you. The only power it holds is what you give it in this present moment through your attention and emotional energy. Think of your attention as a stream of water. You may have been diverting that stream to a dead garden of past grievances, pouring your vital energy into barren soil, wondering why your present life feels so arid. When a painful memory surfaces and familiar emotions swell, the first step is not to resist or condemn yourself for feeling it. Resistance is a form of attention. Acknowledge the feeling impersonally. There is a feeling of sadness arising. It is not "I am sad." You are the observer of the feeling, not the feeling itself. You are the sky. The emotion is a passing cloud. This step creates a crucial space between you and the reaction. In that space lies your freedom. The next step is to question the source. The feeling isn't from the past event, as that is non-existent. The feeling arises from a belief you are holding right now. I was wronged. I am not worthy. I will never be safe. These are the true sources of the pain. Mental constructs you repeat. The power is in identifying the present belief, tethering you to the past. Once you see the belief clearly, you can question its validity. You are the author of your beliefs and have the authority to edit them. Now comes the pivotal action, the conscious withdrawal of energy. Having identified the memory and belief, you make a deliberate choice. Declare, "I will no longer pour my present energy into this past phantom." Imagine the memory as an image on a screen. Turn the volume down, make the picture black and white, and let it fade to nothing. Or see an energy cord extending from you to the past, and with golden scissors, snip the cord. Feel the rush of energy returning to you. This is not denial, it is reclaiming your creative power. You are not erasing the memory, you are neutralizing its emotional charge. It becomes data, a story that is over, like a book placed on a shelf. This reclaimed energy must be reinvested in the present. If you leave a vacuum, the old habit will return. Bring your full attention to the now. Focus intently on an object in your room. Notice its color, texture, and shape. The present moment is your living reality. Initially, this may feel like work. The ghost will knock again. But each time you refuse to answer, each time you withdraw your energy and reinvest it in the present, you weaken the old connection and strengthen a new one. You are literally rewiring your brain. You are building the habit of being present, teaching your entire system on a cellular level that your home is now, and that the present is a place of safety, power, and creation. This is the true meaning of forgiveness, not for another, but for your own liberation. It is releasing a prisoner, only to find the prisoner was you. The profound implication is that your experience is not dictated by past events, but by where you choose to place your focus now. The past is but one of innumerable probable pasts you could focus on. By choosing to energize a memory, you pull it into your present experience. By releasing it, you allow it to recede back into the realm of probabilities, freeing yourself to create a new reality, unencumbered by chains of your own making. This idea of probable pasts may seem startling, yet it is a cornerstone of understanding your creative power. The past is not a concrete, unchangeable line of events that you are dragged behind. It is a vast, multidimensional tapestry of probabilities, and your consciousness, in any given moment, highlights one particular thread that you call your past. By constantly revisiting a painful memory in the way it occurred, you are simply choosing to keep that one probable thread illuminated, reinforcing its reality and its effects upon your present. But the other threads, the other probable pasts, still exist. A past where the hurtful words were never said. A past where you took a different turn. A past where you responded with confidence instead of fear. These are just as valid and just as real in the boundless field of creation. The freedom in this knowledge is immense. Because your point of power is now, you are not a victim of a single defined past. You are a conscious selector. You can, in your present, begin to shift your focus to a more desirable probable past. And in doing so, you change its influence over your current life. This is not an act of self-deception or denial. It is a sophisticated use of your creative imagination to heal and restructure your own energy field. You are choosing to tune your consciousness to a different frequency. one that corresponds with a more harmonious version of your own history. The effects are not just psychological, they ripple out into your physical reality. The technique is both simple and profound. Bring to mind a memory that still carries an emotional charge. Instead of playing the old, painful version, stop. Now use your imagination to deliberately reconstruct it. What would you have preferred to happen? Imagine yourself or others behaving in that ideal way. If there were harsh words, replace them with words of understanding. If there was an action that caused you pain, visualize it being replaced by an act of kindness. Run this new, preferred memory through your mind. Most importantly, allow yourself to feel the emotions that this new version generates. Feel the relief, the peace, the joy, the confidence. By doing this, you are creating a new memory in your mind and body. Your brain and nervous system do not always make a clear distinction between a vividly imagined event and one that was physically experienced. By repeatedly and emotionally investing in this new, preferable memory, the old pathways which led to pain and anxiety begin to atrophy from lack of use. The new pathways, associated with peace and resolution, become stronger. You are not erasing the old event from the annals of time, but you are effectively changing which version of the past you are neurologically, emotionally, and energetically connected to in your present. The old wound loses its power. This same principle applies to the future. Just as the past is a tapestry of probabilities, so is the future. It is not a fixed destination you are traveling toward. It is a spectrum of infinite potential versions of yourself and your life. Your state of being in this present moment, composed of your core beliefs, your dominant feelings, and your mental focus, is the signal you are constantly broadcasting. This signal resonates with a corresponding probable future and begins to draw it into your physical experience. Worrying about a negative outcome is, in effect, a form of meditation upon it. You are using your creative energy to energize that probability. Therefore, the practice of healing your past is intrinsically linked to creating your future. By choosing a better feeling probable past, you alter your emotional state in the present. This new, improved emotional state changes the signal you broadcast. It attunes you to a more desirable, probable future. The present moment is the grand intersection, the creative workshop where your attention to the past and your expectations for the future converge. It is here that you take the raw material of infinite probability and mold it into your experienced reality. The power is not out there in the world or back there in your history. It is within you right now, in this single eternal moment of choice. Once a belief is brought into the light of conscious awareness, its hypnotic hold begins to wane. You have but an act of profound self-creation. You are impressing a new pattern upon the vast, pliable field of consciousness from which your world emerges. When a negative thought or symptom from the old belief pattern arises, you do not fight it. Fighting it only gives it more energy. Instead, you acknowledge it without fear or judgment, and then you gently but firmly return your focus to the new reality you are building in your imagination. You are turning your attention away from the old, crumbling structure and placing your focus, your energy, and your belief upon the new foundation you are laying. Think of it as building a new home for your consciousness. For a time, you may still be aware of the old, drafty house you used to live in. Its shadows may even fall across your new doorstep. But you do not move back in. You do not spend your days patching its old walls. You spend your present moments furnishing your new home. You choose the colors, the textures, the light. You fill it with the emotional atmosphere of joy, security, and peace. With each moment you spend inhabiting this new mental dwelling, it becomes more solid, more real. The old one, neglected and starved of your attention, begins to fade, its power dissolving because its foundation was never in the past, but only in your present moment belief in it. This inner work, this conscious shaping of your present moment through deliberate imagination, is the most important action you can ever take. It is the true cause behind all physical effects. You are not waiting for the world to change so that you can feel better. you are changing your internal state in the present, thereby commanding a corresponding change in the world you perceive. It requires reminding yourself moment by moment where your true power lies. It is not in battling the unwanted, but in lovingly and consistently nurturing the desired reality into being, right here, right now. You have begun to furnish the new home of your consciousness, using the potent tool of imagination to construct the reality you desire to experience. But a workshop, no matter how well equipped, remains dormant without a current of energy to power its tools. That focused energy is your attention. The act of directing that current is concentration. What you choose to concentrate upon in this present moment is the single most important creative decision you will ever make. For it is the mechanism by which you draw all experiences to you. It is the master key to unlocking the power of the present. Your attention is not a passive thing. It is a dynamic, directed flow of pure energy. Where your attention goes, your life force flows, vitalizing and nourishing whatever it touches with the very substance of creation. Think of your consciousness as a sun. Your attention is a focused beam of that sunlight. Whatever you hold steadily in that beam is warmed, energized, and ultimately brought to life. The things you ignore, from which you withdraw your attention, remain in the cold shadow, unable to grow or sustain themselves in your reality. If your attention is consistently placed upon past grievances, you are actively watering those bitter roots in the garden of your present. If your focus is primarily on future anxieties, you are using your creative energy to build the very scenarios you dread. The universe does not judge the object of your focus. It simply and faithfully responds to the energy you are directing. It amplifies what you hold in your awareness. Therefore, what you concentrate upon, you literally become and experience as your physical world. The world of your senses will constantly present you with evidence that corresponds to your old beliefs. This is inevitable, a natural part of the process. These reflections are merely the lingering echoes, the physical residue of your past concentration. The greatest temptation is to see this outer evidence and say, "See." To place your focus upon these echoes in the present is to command them to continue into your future. It is to take the finished, hardened clay of a past creation and desperately try to build something new with it. The true creative act is to bravely withdraw your attention from the unwanted reflection, regardless of how solid it seems, and place it firmly and lovingly upon the new pattern you are holding within your imagination. You must give your loyalty to the unseen reality within you, rather than the fading reality without. In each moment you stand at a creative crossroads, exercising your power in the silent theater of your own mind. Do you place your attention on the diagnosis and its frightening statistics? Or do you place it on the feeling tone of perfect, vibrant health you are cultivating within? Do you focus on the stack of bills? Or do you focus on the inner sense of profound abundance and security? This choice is your ultimate power. It is the helm by which you steer your experience through the infinite sea of probabilities. True concentration is not a tense, forceful effort to block out the world. That is resistance, which only creates struggle. It is, instead, a gentle, loving, and persistent guidance of your thoughts. When your focus wanders back to the old pattern, and it will, you do not chastise yourself. You simply notice, and with the patient resolve of a gardener tending a prized seedling, you guide your attention back to the reality you are choosing to grow, clearing the weeds of doubt with quiet knowing. Each moment of focused attention adds another layer of substance and reality to your new creation. It is like building a powerful magnetic charge. A fleeting, passing thought has very little power, but a thought that is returned to, concentrated upon, and infused with the energy of your belief begins to gain an undeniable momentum. It draws to itself other similar thoughts, insights, and ideas. It then begins to organize the vast field of probability around itself, subtly altering events, inspiring actions, and rearranging circumstances to align with its core nature. This unwavering focus, held in the quiet sanctuary of the present moment, is the powerful signal that you are sending out. It is the cause and the reality that eventually unfolds before you in the world of form is simply the inevitable corresponding effect. Your world is the mirror of your concentrated mind. We have now explored the landscape of our own consciousness, understanding that beliefs are the architects of our reality and emotions are the energy that fuels their construction. We have accepted that the point of power is always in the present moment, but how do we live this truth? How do we move from a conceptual understanding to a lived experience? This is where we must become practitioners, not just theorists of our own becoming. The primary tool is the conscious and deliberate direction of your attention. Think of your attention as your most powerful currency. Where you spend it, reality grows. For too long, many of us have allowed our attention to be spent automatically, pulled by the gravity of past events or the anxieties of a projected future. We make poor investments, pouring this currency into replaying old arguments, nursing grievances, or scrolling through information that creates feelings of lack or fear. These are investments with a guaranteed negative return. To reclaim your power, you must become a conscious investor of your attention. You must reclaim your focus. This is not a battle. You do not fight the past or wrestle with anxious thoughts. Doing so gives them your power. Instead, you practice the art of gentle redirection. When you find your mind on a painful memory or persistent fear, you must first acknowledge it without judgment. See it as a mental habit, a well-worn groove. If the thought is especially sticky, acknowledge the emotion it carries. You can tell yourself, I recognize this feeling of sadness, or I acknowledge this sensation of anxiety. You feel its energy, but you refuse to indulge in the story attached to it. Then gently, you lift the needle from that old, scratched groove and consciously place it onto a new one. The most effective way to anchor your attention in the present is to engage your physical senses fully. What are you seeing right now? Notice the play of light and shadow, a specific color, an intricate pattern. What are you hearing? Listen beyond the obvious sounds to the subtle symphony of your environment. The hum of an appliance, distant traffic, your own quiet breathing. What can you feel? The pressure of the chair against your body, the air temperature on your skin, the texture of your clothes. What subtle scents are in the air? This act of deep sensory engagement is a powerful meditation. Out of the abstract realms of past and future and anchors it firmly in the physical reality of now. At first, this will feel like an effort. The mind, accustomed to its freedom to roam, will resist. It will pull you back into familiar patterns. Do not be discouraged. This isn't a sign of failure. It is a sign the process is working. Every time you notice your mind has wandered and you gently guide it back to the present, you are strengthening a new neural pathway. You are exercising a muscle of consciousness, rewiring your brain and reconditioning your consciousness to reside in its natural seat of power. A major obstacle is the inner critic, which judges past actions and predicts future failures. This critic is not you, it is a programmed recording. Your work is not to argue with it, but to withdraw your attention from its broadcast. Let it speak to an empty room while you place your focus on the present moment. This is not about one grand decision to live in the present. It is about 1,000 small, daily decisions. The choice, in this second, to let go of a grievance. The choice to stop rehearsing a future conversation and instead feel the sun's warmth. The choice to taste your food instead of eating distractedly. Each small act of presence is a declaration of your power. It is you, the director of your consciousness, choosing the scene upon which to focus. As you practice this, something amazing happens. The past loses its emotional charge. It becomes memory and data, not a determinant of your present state. The future loses its anxious quality. It becomes a field of infinite potential you are shaping with your focus now. The present is no longer a fleeting bridge between a heavy past and a worrisome future. It becomes the entire field of play, the only place where life is lived and the only point from which all creation springs. We will soon conclude our journey by looking at the world you begin to build, the reality that emerges when you consistently inhabit this point of creative power. Over the course of this journey, we have dissected the very mechanics of reality. We began with the profound concept that consciousness creates matter, that your beliefs are the blueprint and your emotions are the vibrant energy of creation. We then pinpointed the source of all your creative ability to a single, eternal locus, the present moment. We have explored the practical methods for inhabiting this point of power, the tools required to withdraw your priceless attention from the ghosts of the past and the phantoms of the future, and to anchor it in the living, breathing reality of now. So what happens when this is no longer a practice, but a state of being? What world do you begin to build when the present moment becomes your natural habitat? The first profound shift is from a life of reaction to a life of conscious creation. When your energy is not fragmented across time, you cease to be a puppet of external circumstances. Events no longer simply happen to you. You understand that they are drawn into your experience as a direct response to your focused state of being. You begin to witness the magic of synchronicity as a daily occurrence. The right person, the perfect opportunity, the exact information you need seems to appear effortlessly in your path. This is not magic or coincidence. It is the natural mechanics of a universe responding to the clear, coherent, and powerful signal you are emitting from the present moment. You enter a state of flow where your actions feel less like effort and more like an inspired dance with the unfolding of reality. Furthermore, the great paralyzing force of fear begins to dissolve. Almost all fear is a product of time-traveling consciousness. It is rooted in the memory of past pain or the anxious projection of future suffering. But in the pure, unadulterated now, fear finds very little to cling to. When you are fully engaged with your senses, feeling your breath move in and out of your body, you discover a profound and unshakable sense of safety. You realize that in this exact moment you are okay. As this becomes your lived reality, you cultivate a deep trust in yourself and in the processes of the universe. You know that whatever arises, you have the inner resources to meet it from a place of centered power. From this space of trust and presence, your authentic self finally emerges. For years, this true self has been buried beneath layers of social conditioning, past identities, and fearful protections. But when you are no longer defined by your history or your anxieties, who you are in this moment is all that remains. Spontaneous joy, creativity, and inspiration begin to flow through you. Your actions are no longer guided by conditioned responses or the expectations of others, but by a clear inner knowing, a powerful intuition that becomes your most trusted guide. This is the you that you were always meant to be, and living from this state is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the world. You finally understand that the point of power is not just a point of peace, it is a point of generation. It is the workshop where your future is masterfully forged, not by worry or strain, but with the calm, focused, loving attention you bring to this very moment. Your life becomes a masterpiece, and you are the artist, painting your reality with the colors of your present moment awareness. Our exploration of these ideas is now complete, but your real journey has just begun. Do not let this be mere information. The ultimate power you possess is not in what you have learned, but in what you choose to do with it right now. Your power is not waiting for you in a distant future when things are better. It is not buried in a past you cannot change. It is in your very next breath. So my call to action for you is this: choose one thing, just one thing for the rest of today, to experience with your full and undivided presence. Whether it is a conversation, a meal, a walk outside, or simply the act of breathing for 60 seconds. Anchor yourself in the now and feel its power. This single act is the most important work you will ever do. If this series has helped you on your path, Solidify your commitment to conscious creation by liking this video and subscribing for more explorations into the nature of your reality. Share the one thing you chose to be present with today in the comments below. And let's continue this journey together.